Hello there everyone and welcome back to another video. My name is Rebecca and if you haven't been to this channel before, welcome. Nice to see you. I'm a bit awkward. I already started this off great. Hands down, 10 out of 10 opening for a video. Great. I'm already making a fool out of myself. I apologize for the person in the background making all of the noise. It is the people that I live with. They're not quiet. They're playing video games right now, so probably gonna hear a lot of shouting and yelling and all that other junk. I'll try and be as loud as I can so you can hear me, but there's nothing I can do about the other people in the room, so. With that being said, I come to you today with another Freya video and some Freya energy-esque things. A Freya lesson that I got randomly one day, and I wanted to kind of share it because I don't see a lot about this aspect of her. I don't really see it explained a lot, and most people don't even believe this aspect of her exists. The aspect I am talking about is the motherly figure aspect of Freya. A lot of people would say that this is not a real thing. Freya is not a motherly figure, so on, because she's sexual energy, the maiden goddess, all this other shit. This just kind of makes me laugh because all deities can be all aspects. There's not really a limit to it, in my opinion. So saying Freya can't be a motherly goddess is really ridiculous to me, especially since she is a mother of 2 children, actually. So Freya kind of strikes me as one of those mothers that is very strong, confident, really teaches her girls the real essential keys on how to be tough in the world and how to be confident, how to be self-loving of oneself, especially when you're a woman. She comes across as a mother, like kind of like that single badass mom that has been through a lot of shit, and she pretty much was after Ode was killed, so she's a single mother of her 2 children. Now, not only was she a badass and a great mother, she also considered her children to be her treasures, her prizes. How do we know this? Well, she literally named her kids Jewel and Treasure. What better way to, like, come across in saying that than literally naming your children your jewel and your treasure? Their names, and do not be mad at me if I fuck up or butcher the names, is Nas, which is Jewel, and Jersemi? I want to say it's Jersemi, for treasure. Her children are literally her treasures. How great of names is that? So in coming to realization of the name she had given her children, and just really thinking, I don't remember what brought across this thought process for me, but I really started believing in parents respecting and finding their children as their treasures. And this was sort of the message Freya was trying to convey to me. So I really went in depth with this a little bit more and was thinking about it for a while. And I was thinking of some kind of ideas of what I would want for my future children. Some of kind of the key ideas I would want to bring into parenting if I ever became a parent. And also some kind of ideas of what I would have wanted my parents to do for me, but they didn't really teach me. Things I thought that could be brought into the modern world, and also Freya kind of guiding me on the message she was trying to portray to me. So, number 1 is respecting your children. This is especially hard to do sometimes when you get into that parenting role. I think my parents sometimes had difficulty in the role of how to respect their children while also asking for respect from us. I found a lot of times if I would say something, I felt like they wouldn't listen to me or believe me because I was young, I was a kid, I didn't know what I was talking about, etc. I never really liked these qualities that they came across to me, as they like couldn't believe me just because I was a kid, or they had no respect for me because I was too young to understand the world, sort of thing, which is kind of ridiculous because kids often have a unique perspective of the world that we should still it's still new and kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not attached to all of the, like, social morals and codes that we have put onto ourselves as a society and stuff. So I think it's very important to listen to our children sometimes and understanding where they're coming from. You're here to teach them, not to make them feel less, so don't make them feel less superior than you just because you're the adult in the situation. As I grew older, I found out the adults don't really know what the fuck they're doing either. Everybody has different perspectives, everybody has different thoughts about everything, so nobody's really right or wrong, it's just crazy and chaotic. This one is very important to me because I felt like I had a lot of trust issues with my parents all the time because they walked around the truth a lot of the time with me, or they wouldn't give me the full truth on things sometimes. Or they wouldn't tell me things and I'd find out later from someone else. There were a lot of secrets running around in the family, it felt like sometimes. Be honest with your children. They'll figure it out eventually, or someone else will tell them about whatever you're trying to hide. Especially if it's just stupid things that don't need to be hidden. Of course, if there's something very personal to you that you don't feel like they have a right to know, obviously that's up to you in the end. But I feel oftentimes it's better to be honest with your children, especially with how you're feeling, things that have happened, because most of the time they'll be more understanding when they grow older, when they can kind of see where your perspective is coming from. Another key part, thing that my parents had struggles doing with me is understanding me and trying to understand, because I had different perspectives and ideas from them. Oftentimes I find a lot of parents, or at least the parents and adults around in my life when I was younger growing up, were quite different from some of their children, and there always became this sort of divide just because they were different and they had different ideas going on, different opinions on things. And oftentimes they would use this as just a divider in the relationship, just like, we can't get along because we don't agree. When in reality, I feel like these children sometimes are probably bringing up shadows, big shadows for you, that you don't agree with this thing, but you don't really know why. You just have been either told this one thing your whole life, or you've had a problem with this one thing your whole life and you don't really know why. And then, boom, your kid's into it for some reason. I think it's kind of the universe throwing our shadows back at us through someone very close to us, and it's kind of interesting. So for instance, I'm kind of a rock, I was kind of gothy in school and bit of a video game nerd, anime nerd, so on and so forth. I feel like if I ever have a kid, they're probably going to be the complete opposite of me. They're going to be like that cheerleader in school or something, or a football player, you know what I'm saying? Something completely opposite, something I had struggles with in school that I did not, I was not on the same vibe with, because it would be a challenge for me, right, to try and accept something that I was so against in school, and then your kid wants to be a part of that, and then you would have to then adapt and learn how to see what they see in it, It brings new perspectives, and I think we should really be open-minded to that, rather than shutting our children down just because that's something we disagree with or we didn't like growing up, One of the things I want to do if I ever have children is to really believe their word, and also to act on what they're feeling. I felt a lot when I was growing up, my parents didn't have my back if I felt uncomfortable around people, because those people might have been their friends or family members. I just felt like they didn't have my back. For instance, one time our family was at a family reunion in a different area, and one of the little kids in that family reunion started making fun of my sister's appearance and my appearance, and we were really upset about it. We went to go tell my mom what had happened, And she's like, oh, what house did this happen at? And so we're pointing at the house, and the guy that my mom's talking to is like, oh, that's my house. And basically my mom ended up shutting me and my sister down and telling us, you need to be quiet, like, you're kind of embarrassing me, just go sit in the car and we'll talk about it later. And to me that was ridiculous because I'm the one that's more uncomfortable, right? My sister and I were the ones that were being made fun of by these other shitty little kids over there, but you're trying to save your embarrassment over your child being picked on, like that was causing a scene for you. And I always thought that was really just silly. So I definitely want to, like, if my child feels uncomfortable in a situation, no matter whom it's with, I want to be able to have their back and say, you know what, my kid's feeling uncomfortable, I'm sorry, I'm gonna head out or whatever, like, I don't care who it is. If, it's a really good friend of mine or something, I'm just gonna be like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to go, my kid feels uncomfortable, and I'm gonna have to back them up on that. I just think it's good to have your kids back when they're feeling uncomfortable about things. I don't think it's always the best option to force them to deal with things. It'll teach them to allow things like that to happen in their future whenever something bad's happening and they don't agree with the situation or they want to be out of that situation. If we teach them to ignore that, it could have bad effects on them later. I would also want my child to know that slow growth is okay as well. For me, I was always a fast-paced learner in school and did really good. As soon as I got out of high school, reality, as people would call it, I guess, or the real world, was a much more daunting task for me. I didn't fit in, or it didn't come as naturally to me as just book smart sort of like understanding was. So whatever is the harder thing for my child in life, I would want them to know that baby steps and slow pace to victory is always an option. It's always okay as long as you're still climbing, as long as you don't stop and you keep climbing, keep growing. Doesn't matter, whether it be the turtle or the hare, you're still gonna get to the finish line, whether it be slow paced or fast paced. Another very important thing that I would want my child to know is that I value them as a person, no matter what their failures are, no matter how many times they feel like giving up, or how many times they don't feel like they can do it. I'd want them to know that I value them as a person and I value their soul, and I know that their light will shine through eventually once they find whatever connects correctly for them in their life, whatever their life path will be. I want them to know that I value them as a person, and whatever they choose to do with their life does not matter, as long as they're happy and not hurting anyone else. Overall, I would want them as an individual to feel like they have a home with me, feel like they're safe with me. I'd want them to express their true shine and their true self. I'd want them to be connected to who they truly are, to their authentic self. I'd want them to know that I'm going to try and understand them no matter what phase and what cycle they are at in their life. I want to try and be there and be strong with them. I want to have a beautiful relationship with my children, and I want them to know that they're treasures. Because every individual out there deserves to be treasured. Every single one. And it's oftentimes a lot of hatred, and sadness, and pain is brewed into the world because we don't know, or no one lets us know that we're treasured. Or people don't treasure us, And it causes a lot of hurt on individuals. No one deserves to feel like that. One last and final note I wanted to add to this little Freya talk is that as individuals that work underneath Freya or with Freya, we are also her children, so congratulations, we're all her treasures as well. She treasures us as individuals. She loves us. She thinks the world of us sometimes when we don't see it ourselves. So definitely allow yourself to shine. Shine in her fucking throne room, her treasure room. You're like one coin out of a bunch of coins in that treasure room. You are merely a piece within the chest, but you are such an important piece. All of her treasures are beautiful. All of her treasures are loved. And all of her children are her treasures. So yes, Freya is a very loving goddess. She's also a motherly goddess. She is an incredible, strong woman. Very incredible, strong goddess. And, you know, sometimes she's got to give you a bit of that mama talk. Like, she ain't gonna put up with your shit if you're being extra about something or you just don't want to do something. She will definitely leave you to yourself to figure out things for yourself when that time is needed. But just know that you are still treasured, and as a child under the goddess, or any deity, as a matter of fact, or even a child of the universe if you don't subscribe to any deity at all, you are a treasure, and you should know that you're a treasure. And if you don't know, I'm telling you right now, you are a treasure of this universe. So fucking shine. Let your light shine. Be your authentic self, who you're meant to be. Even if you have to be quiet about it right now, one day you'll be able to step into the full amounts of your beauty. You will shine that golden fucking light that is inside of you, and it'll be such a freeing moment, such a beautiful moment. I don't know why I'm smiling now. I just feel that I asked my god Finvara to kind of project his fun, flirtatious, just crazy, loving, outgoing or whatever energy into me before I started this video, because I wanted to project some of my confidence, help my confidence grow. And now I'm just giggly, and I'm just smiling. Thanks for that, Finvara. I hope the message was received across well, or makes sense to you guys. It was just sort of something I've been thinking about for a long time, but I didn't quite know how to word it into a video. So I know it's something that Freya wants out there, because she gets this rap a lot. I don't know why people just don't see her as a mother goddess, and it makes no sense to me, because she's my mama, she's my mother, my deity mother, and she deserves that title too. She's so many. She's the shapeshifter. She deserves any and all titles, any and all labels. She just is all. There is no stopping for her, you know? So just stop trying to stick Freya in boxes, because she's not gonna allow it. She's not going to let that happen, so don't. I'm gonna end this video here now because I'm just rambling at this point. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in another video soon. Love you. Bye.